It's transfer deadline day. This is where the winter window ends. Today is the 1st of February. It's done. Transfer deadline day. I'll be giving you guys all the latest updates on transfer deadline day. It's mainly going to be outgoings, although it doesn't look like there's going to be any outgoings. It looks like there's going to be no transfer activity regarding Chelsea. I'll be giving you guys all the latest update, and towards the second part of this video, I'll be going into how Tuchel tactically set up against Burnley, how it was a tactical masterclass, and how he can use it against Tottenham as well to get a lot of joy against Spurs on Thursday. But before I do go into it, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and comment down below your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. But let's get straight into today's transfer deadline day. Now, starting off with the biggest news. Now, this comes as a big surprise. We all expected Billy Gilmour to be loaned out. We know that it's due to lack of game time. He's young, he's 19 years of age. He needs to go out, he needs to develop, he needs to essentially acquire that game time so he can come back fresh. Don't forget, he's going to play in the Euros for Scotland, so he needs to secure that game time for him to be with a chance to play for Scotland in the Euros in the summertime. Now, it has been reported, breaking news by Sky Sports' Matt Law, and also, of course, Fabrizio Romano, that Billy Gilmour will not go out on loan today. Chelsea want him involved in the first team squad. Now, this is very surprising. You know, we all expected Billy Gilmour to be loaned out, but when you delve into what Matt Law said, he said that Gilmour will get his chances in game time from Thomas Tuchel, who has been really impressed by him in training. Now, this is fantastic news, and this really puts all the doubters that, Tuchel wasn't going to play youth. It puts those rumours to bed. I known before he signed for Chelsea, Tuchel, that he does play youth. He's done it his whole career. I knew there shouldn't be any doubts. He done it at Mainz. He done it at Dortmund. He gave Pulisic his debut at the age of 17. He was the main factor in developing Ousmane Dembélé and making Aubameyang into the player that he is in PSG. He gave so many youngsters their debut. So this myth that he doesn't play youth is rubbish. It's a complete myth, and I'm really happy by this. Now, hopefully it means that Billy Gilmour will get some game time. Remember, we're still in the FA Cup. We've got Barnsley after Spurs in about 10 days' time, so he should be getting a good 90 minutes against Barnsley. Hopefully, the smaller Premier League games, once we get in a more comfortable position, he can come on into games as well. If Jorginho gets injured, Gilmour can play. If Cover gets injured, or he can come on in the 60th minute, 70th minute when the game is done and dusted, or changing a game. There's many ways. I think that as long as Tuchel gives him the sufficient game time that he requires for his development and ensures that he has a spot for the Euro for Scotland, then I think everyone will be happy. Listen, Billy Gilmour wants to stay at Chelsea. He wants to succeed here. He wants to get the game time. It's just a case of, will he get the game time? Now, this morning Sky Sports reported that Southampton were interested in him. However, he's had a conversation with Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Tuchel wants Billy Gilmour to stay. So I think this is fantastic news. Only the caveat is that he has to get sufficient game time, which I believe that he will. If Thomas Tuchel's impressed by him in training, if Thomas Tuchel's already spoke to him, meaning that he has got plans for him for the remainder of the season, and of course next season and in the future. So this is fantastic news if you ask me, as long as he gets the game time, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, a lot of fans will also be really happy to hear this. Now, moving on to other players that could have potentially gone if Thomas Tuchel didn't arrive, that is of course Marcos Alonso and Emerson, our two left backs. We currently have 3 left backs on the cards. Marcos Alonso, Emerson and Chilwell. Chilwell was of course our first choice left back. We splashed £50 million in the summertime. It is the player Frank Lampard wanted, and of course he's not going to be sold or loaned. He's our first choice left back. So it was always a case of Marcos Alonso and Emerson being surplus requirements, but after the performance Marcos Alonso put in yesterday, scoring a fantastic goal, or shall I say Marco van Basten, what a goal. Fantastic piece of skill, technical ability, great volley. The reason why there's not going to be outgoing is because Thomas Tuchel's arrived, and to be fair to him, he's given everyone a clean slate. Everyone's going to get a new opportunity, a new chance under Thomas Tuchel, and it's only fair. The only way a player will leave this window is if they really want to leave the club and the club receives a good offer. That's the only way. But same goes for Emerson. Emerson's really happy at Chelsea. He obviously wants to play in the Euros. He's a senior player. He wants to play for Italy in the Euros, so he also needs to get the sufficient game time. Now, if it was going to be any left back leaving, I would assume be Emerson, because of Marcos Alonso. He suits the 3-back system a lot better, and he really impressed Tuchel yesterday. And as I said, everyone gets a clean slate under Thomas Tuchel, so it really is a case of it's extremely unlikely that a player will be leaving this window, or today essentially, because today is transfer deadline day. So look, if you ask me personally, I think that we're going to have a massive clear out in the summer, but that's when Tuchel will get a more idea of who he wants in the squad, who he's going to utilise, who he's not going to use as much. He doesn't know yet because he's kind of understanding these players a bit more, and I'll be delving into that more in the coming videos. But I think there'll be a massive clear out in the summertime. I'm assuming 5 to 6 players. We are going to make some additions, don't get me wrong, maybe 2 or 3 top class additions that suit Thomas Tuchel's way of playing football, but at the same time you're going to definitely be seeing at least 5 or 6 departures, which is understandable. We have a very large squad. We need to trim down the squad to keep everyone happy, and of course it's going to help our wage bill a lot as well. So as I said, really good news. Billy Gilmour will not be going on loan, and it looks like there won't be any departures as well. It looks like Alonso and Emerson will also be staying at Chelsea. So hopefully Emerson does get some game time, because I feel bad for him. He needs to get the game time because he wants to play for Italy in the Euros. So hopefully they all get some game time. But Thomas Tuchel, he changes formation regularly, as I keep stressing. His principles, his idea of football, his style of play, philosophy always remains the same. But the formation doesn't. The formation depends on the opponent. If we're playing low blocks, you're going to be seeing a 3 to back where you've got Hudson-Odoi in that free role position where he can cause havoc, dribbling, etc., creating opportunities, creating chances. And then on the other hand, you've got the likes of a 4 at the back formation, which we utilise against top opponents like your Liverpools, your Cities in the Champions League. And of course, if the opponent is not going to be sitting in the low block. So there's many opportunities, there's many options, and I think that everyone will get sufficient game time because Tuchel does like to rotate. So I think that's the ideology. That's why he doesn't want anyone to leave, because he needs to assess the squad a lot more. And he's only been here not even a week. He's been here for 6 days. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But on regarding that, no additions today. You won't be seeing any signings. Chelsea not going to make any signings today. And there's not going to be any departures. Well, as I record this video, Billy Gilmour is not leaving, Emerson is not leaving, and Alonso will not be leaving. But let's get into the second part of this video. Now, of course, yesterday was an absolute tactical masterclass from Thomas Tuchel, and here is the lineup that was faced against Burnley. Mendy in goal, Rudiger, Silva, Azpilicueta, Hudson-Odoi, Alonso as the wing backs, Kovacic, Jorginho, Werner, Mount and Abraham. And I'm going to essentially be going through how he tactically outclassed Burnley, how it was a tactical masterclass, and essentially the formation that was deployed in possession and the formation that was deployed in transition, essentially, i.e. in the defensive transition, or when we were defending. Now, in possession, as you can see, it was more of a 3-2-5, having Hudson on that free roll down the right hand side. When you play low block teams, despite being a right wing back, you have to do defensive duties. Going forward, you have that free roll against low blocks because the opponent, because they're playing a low block, they're not going to be attacking much. So therefore, you're acting as a second winger in that sense. So Hudson-Odoi was still in his natural position, creating, dribbling, creating opportunities, moving in between lines and half spaces, creating problems, and that's where the first goal came. His movement in between lines on the counter and the half space, laying off Azpilicueta to make it 1-0. You got Alonso as well, as also a very attacking fullback and attacking wing back who likes to make those infield runs. And of course, you could see Werner sometimes overlapping because Alonso is making infield runs. And if you notice for Alonso's goal, Pulisic was the one who was overlapping, stretching the Burnley back line, and Alonso was the one who made that infield run into the box, which is where the ball was clipped into him, where he was then able to produce the magic, which is what Alonso's cup of tea essentially. Werner as well in his natural position, in that left half space, in his perfect position there, not quite left wing but not quite striker. He's in that left inside half space, is more of an inside forward to essentially use the pace and acceleration. He had a couple of fantastic sitters and opportunities that he can utilise. Hopefully soon he will start bagging. Abraham up front as well, his natural position, Fox in the box, elite movement, link up. Mason Mount as well, operating in between lines, allowing Jorginho to progress the ball to him, and you've got Jorginho and Kovacic progressing and dictating the game as well. So again, this was a fantastic formation. When you have the 5 up front, it was perfect because it was essentially breaking down that Burnley low block, which is so difficult to break down against these teams that just sit 11 men behind the ball. We then move on to players in the transition, and it was then essentially a 2-2-6 in that regard. We had Rudiger and Silva as 2 centre backs, and we had Alonso this far up the pitch. And this is where the first goal essentially came, because you have Werner in that inside forward position, Alonso making the overlapping run, Abraham in the striking position, Mount in between lines. And when you have Hudson-Odoi pushed up this far, you still need the width, and that's where the first goal came from the counter, because Mount, he was in acres of space, laid it off to Hudson-Odoi, and that's where Azpilicueta made that 76-metre sprinting run all across the pitch to essentially make this ball. And credit to Azpilicueta, Hudson-Odoi laid it off to Azpi, who smashed it into the roof of the net. But that's what I'm saying. Azpilicueta was essentially playing as a right winger, as a right wing back, because he was stretching the play and he gave another option of outlet for the likes of Hudson-Odoi to lay it off to him. So this was the type of formation. But then, of course, if you caught in the transition, this was how we were playing against Burnley. We had that 2-2-6 type formation. So in possession, in transition, how we lined up as well. But it was an absolute masterclass. Against low block teams, the 3 at the back formation is perfect. It's perfect. But, you know, this is the formation I'd go for against Tottenham, because Tottenham, they're going to be sitting deep. Harry Kane is not playing, and Ndombele is a doubt. Sergio Reguilon is a doubt as well. You know, arguably, you know, 3 of their out of 4 their best players. Son is there, obviously, going to play. But because Kane's not playing, they're going to be playing a low block, and so you need the 3 at the back to give Hudson-Odoi that license to roam around in that free role position. But tactically, Thomas Tuchel got this spot on, and really happy with the performance. But I'm going to be wrapping up the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, to smash like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.